All right, welcome back to the Squarespace Entrepreneur Show. Today I'm here with Henry Purchase of Rough Water Media. I don't remember exactly when we spoke last, Henry, so forgive me. I don't have like a good date in my
No
mind,
problem.
but I do remember what we talked about, which was your SEO plugin for Squarespace, which I was really impressed with. I got a quick preview of it, and I was like, yeah, it's been a long time coming. People have been trying to figure out how do I like get an SEO plugin for Squarespace for a long time, because they've been able to have that experience with other platforms. And so the fact that you're executing on this so well, I think is really cool. So
thank you.
My reason for having you on today, like we just said, was to have you catch me up and anyone else listening on the plugin, where you are with the launch. If someone wants to join, would they be able to now, or like how are things going with that?
For sure. So first of all, thanks a lot for having me on. Really appreciate the impact you've had on the journey, even though it's sort of been fairly short so far. So essentially we launched to a waiting list only, probably about 3 weeks ago now. And that was so that we could get more feedback. We could sort of release to more of a niche group. They can help us grow, ready for the public launch in Q1. Currently it is closed. People can sign up, and I'm sure we can link that in the appropriate way. However, if what I am doing is looking for feedback, so what people can do, they can will find a way for them to reach out to me, and we can jump on a call to show them a sneak peek, so we can sort of learn a little bit more about what people are looking for. But in general, it's closed, and people won't be able to have access until the public launch in Q1, once we do our rebrand and, as you sort of mentioned, spin out the agency.
Yeah, I like that. So a very controlled kind of a launch sequence here. And that's good to know, because it means that you are taking the time to make sure the product is as good as possible, but more importantly, that it's helping people solve the problems that they need to solve.
So
if you're listening right now and you've been curious about optimizing your Squarespace site, there's a tool now that Henry has made that if you get on a call with him like this, he will show it to you and walk you through it and fill you in on the blank. So can you tell us a little bit about that spinoff now, or is it too early?
No, we can go for it. I cleared it with a team before just to double check.
All right, cool, yeah.
And people we are going to have not a waiting list, but an email list, so people can find out first when that date's confirmed, which again, I guess we can link somehow. But the plugin itself, I mean, Amari, as you know, SEO is hard. It's full of jargon. There's things like Yoast SEO on other platforms, which make it a little bit easier. But even though Squarespace is SEO friendly out the box, there is some spaces where it's missing. And even having a dynamic checklist by itself to make sure you're ticking all the boxes is something that at a fundamental level can help most Squarespace users. It's sort of the idea came through me and my girlfriend run a travel blog, and I run an SEO agency that guarantees page one rankings. We're working on Squarespace sites, and even myself, I've been doing this for 5 years. I like to have a checklist just sort of there to make sure that I'm hitting all the boxes, because some things you can forget. And there wasn't anything there. So we decided I've got a software background, take it upon ourselves to build out the plugin, build out a real basic minimum viable product, test it. And the response has been really good so far. And in fact, the launch went so well that it no longer makes sense to have it as part of the agency anymore. So it no longer makes sense to have it as part of Rough Water Media. So we're going to launch it out and rebrand it as SEO Space. The website itself is going to have a whole host of free resources to get on page one of Google. I'm literally sharing the same processes that I go through to guarantee page one rankings at my agency, which, to be honest, doesn't come cheap, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to provide a plugin that's $10 a month for DIYers in order to get similar, if not the same results. So it's going to be rebranded as SEO Space, but for now, the website is still my agency, and then the finer details will be released maybe January, February for the launch and what the website's going to be for the plugin.
Yeah, SEO Space. That's a great brand. That is a great way to brand SEO for this particular platform.
Creative as well. Wonder how I came up with that.
I mean, what else are you gonna do? Square SEO?
That unfortunately was on the list. But this is a start. The plugin Yoast is okay for those who's used it. It's essentially a traffic light system to make sure your meta descriptions, your alt tags are filled in, they're the right length, etc. But it sort of stops there. And SEO, it is an art more than a science. And to do it right, you need to be able to have a community there to ask questions. With the plugin, you also get access to a gated community so that you can sort of share your experiences and get access to myself. On that agency plan, so there's 2 tiers, there's a DIY and agency plan. I do 1 to 2 mastermind sessions a week. So you have the opportunity to bring your client site, so your site, to me, and I'll give my professional advice. So you need a lot more than just a plugin. So which is why I want it to be SEO Space, because it's a space for SEO resources, community, and software to get on page 1 of Google.
Yeah, I can see it, man. I can see it. I can see the vision clearly. Like it's really solid. And I like the fact that it's holistic. So it's not just, hey, here's the tool, go use it. It's like, no, you don't really want the tool. You want the result, and the tool is just a way to get the result. So let's create a container that can ensure the result by whatever means. And it sounds like that's what you're doing. Fantastic. Tell me about your content strategy. I know you're active on LinkedIn. I think you post there. Is it daily or 3 times a week?
It's every weekday now.
Okay,
5 times a week. I've recently increased it. So yeah, I share. You sort of told me really. I think the first time we met, you'll always look to create a community and share value with. I didn't do the same as a community I have now. I'm a massive believer in giving away 95% of the value for free,
right?
Because from what I've experienced, I give away the exact processes that I do. I'm not really scared that people are going to steal it, because 95% of people aren't going to do anything with it anyway, which is why I get a real kick out of helping people, which is why I give so much away for free. So that's all on my LinkedIn. I have also just started a YouTube channel as well, which is just Henry Purchase. And I'm going to be doing 2 things on there. First of all, I'm documenting the journey of growing the software. So literally, I've even got it recording right now. In fact, I'll give the
word.
giveaway. So
welcome to the show.
There we are. So I'm recording all the steps of growing my software company. Because I learn that, likewise with you, with growing everything that you've built, you learn so much. And I want to be able to share those learnings to other people growing a software business. Then the other 50% of the channel is going to be me just giving away SEO tips and processes for free, so that DIYers or agencies can get theirs or their client sites on page 1 of Google, and just sharing as much as I can on there, as well as my LinkedIn as well.
It's not what you said about giving away 95% of the content and the stuff for free. I almost want to say, like, I've grown up with that, hearing that, but it's really like there is no other way when it comes to content, to do it, because in marketing, what I've observed is there's always only going to be a very small percentage who take action on the thing you want them to take action on. And it's not because you wanted them to take action, it's because that's what they already wanted to do. And the other 95 or 99%, either they're not ready there yet, or they never will be, or there's always like a movement of people to get to that 1% where they're ready, right? And so the more free content you create, or the more valuable stuff you put out there, is the more likely they're going to be able to find you,
Yeah,
and know that you
exactly.
have it. Like I've struggled with this actually. You know what I'm saying? People might think, "Oh yeah, you give but so much," but I'm like, no, I've actually held a lot. I've held a
Yeah,
lot back, and I'm even now at a point where I'm like, okay, well, I've held back so much that now I've got even way more to give. So now
yeah,
I'm on a new giving mission, just like you, where it's like, there's so much that you do learn along the journey, through the journey, stuff that you like do years ago that if you don't document it, like there's no way to pick it back up later in the future and say, hey, here's how this went down.
100%,
So
100%.
yeah, it's really cool, man. I'm curious about your background. You mentioned software development. You got the agency, the SEO stuff. Like, how did this come together for you in terms of like what you want to be doing, like as you're doing it now?
Brilliant question. I actually got into SEO. I was really lucky to do an internship, and I went out. I went out and lived in Bali while I was doing it.
Yeah.
So not sort of a common internship to do when I was about, I think I was 20 at the time. Um, and I started chat to a guy out there called Brie Moreau. He was doing sort of SEO for Mercedes in Australia and New Zealand, I believe. And he sort of threw me into the SEO world. He taught me so much. And that was when I first started my original agency. I was playing around on my own sites. I was playing around on a few customer sites, but I really wasn't very good, to be completely honest. And that agency ended up failing. But in the end, that taught me so much. I think anyone that's looking to start a business, one of the best things is just to start, because you're going to mess up so much anyway. So you may as well just get it out there and go from there. So that was my first sort of try at business. And I then went and helped a friend run his agency for 3 years, running the SEO side. So it enabled me to learn across a whole host of websites, not just Squarespace websites, how to get on page one of Google.
Yeah.
But the actual software side started after I graduated. So I went to University of Bath to study civil engineering in the UK. And after that, I actually joined a software program called the Alacti Foundation in South Wales. It's a 15-month paid program. So they pay you, and they teach you how to found, start, and grow a software company.
Yeah.
It is honestly the most hidden gem.
So let me ask you a question, man, because you casually went from studying civil engineering to this software program.
Yeah.
like what wasn't jiving about civil engineering for you that was like, yo, I gotta do something
I
different.
I love, what I hated about civil engineering was the fact that I would have had to work for 10 to 15 years in order to get rewarded and work on cool stuff. For me, I don't care what your background is. If you're talented and you're willing to work hard, you should be rewarded for that. And for me, software was a fantastic avenue, because you can be 21 years old, work at Google, and work on something that impacts billions of people.
Yeah.
So for me, the software side really attracted me, because I was like, I want to be able to prove myself and work on stuff that impacts millions, not work for 10, 15 years to impact thousands. That was the sort of vision I had. And that program was sort of the best gateway to get there.
Wow. Yeah. That's that. That answers it. I went to engineering school as well. I did mechanical engineering. So I'm always curious,
Cool.
like, I think the mindset of an engineer, wherever you place it, is always going to produce a similar result, which is it's going to find a problem and it's going to solve it.
Yeah. Problem
So,
solve. Problem solve.
and people often find it surprising when you go out into other realms, whether it's finance or business or whatever. How does that work? Well, it's no different than what you might imagine. We're just really systematic, process-based thinkers. Henry, anything else you want to share with our audience around SEO space, what you've got going on, what you've got coming up?
Yeah, I guess what I've got coming up. So we're doing the rebrand.
Yeah.
So obviously one of the things is, sorry. One of the things with bootstrapping, so we're not taking external funding for the software. Everything, the success from the agency at the moment goes straight into the software.
Right.
So I'm sort of the person funding it, I'm the person growing it, and we've got a brilliant team that sort of expanded more and more. One of the things with that was you just get something out there in software. There's a thing like called do things that don't scale. And obviously I think they said with Facebook, just break things, do things and break things. And that's one of the things that we've been working on. We got something out really early. Yeah. That's why we went for a niche waiting list. But then now we are taking all of that feedback. And in Q1, we're going to be doing a complete rebrand, wireframing, change the whole flow of the software to make it the easiest way for Squarespace users to get their website on page one of Google. That is the plan of it. That is the mission. We help Squarespace users get on page one of Google. So there's some really exciting things. And I guess the biggest thing is to get people to maybe follow me on YouTube so they can see that growth. There'll be some sneak peeks on there. As you saw, I'm already recording things here so people can see what's going on. But I'll also do sort of screen recordings of exactly what's going on with the software, the behind the scenes stuff. Right. So that's probably one of the things to sort of maybe push people towards to look at, because it is literally complete transparency. I even show exactly how many people are subscribed. So
it's fun
on
stuff.
The software.
Yeah, I've always learned the most from the folks who are willing to be transparent. So one last question. So for the let's say for the SEO skeptic out there, right? The person who's heard there's no guaranteed page one rankings. What is your how do you take that objection? Because I think if however you respond to that objection, if you put that up front and center, then it's through the door. So how are you able to, with the tool, with your services, guarantee page one rankings for our listeners?
It's probably something that maybe at some point we'll revisit, because I have had some people think it's a scam. Like, first of all, you can't guarantee page one rankings, but then also if you do, it's a scammy marketing tactic to get people on the plugin. It's definitely not. We do guarantee page one rankings. Go on the website and you can see the results that we've got for clients. And also on my YouTube channel, there's a webinar on there where I show people for free exactly how I guarantee page one rankings. Yeah. So even if you don't want to use the software, even if you don't believe this, go and check out that video and see for yourself and judge it from there. How I look at SEO, it's sort of a supply and demand sort of model. So SEO, for anyone that doesn't know, search engine optimization. It's a practice of optimizing your website so that it appears higher up on search engines. The higher up you are, the more clicks you get and hopefully more sales, etc. I look at it as a supply and demand sort of model. If you've got a very high supply for a particular keyword that someone is searching, it's really competitive. It's a really competitive space to try and rank for. The demand is the number of people that are searching per month. So what we do when we're guaranteeing page one rankings, we'll look at the supply for a particular keyword. So how many pages are optimized to rank for that key term, and the demand. We want to look for pages that have a low supply but a high demand. And that's essentially a supply and demand ratio, which when you look at the right numbers, you can essentially create a table and look for words that have that low ratio, i.e. a low demand, high demand, low supply. So that's how we break it down. I've got a video showing exactly with screen recordings how I do that on my YouTube channel. And it doesn't have to be rocket science as well. I think SEO is so full of jargon and full of spammy people telling you they'll rank you on page one for $100. That doesn't really exist. You need to cut through the fat, focus on the fundamentals that really do work. And that's what we've tried to instill in the plugin from day one. Core fundamentals, what really works. alongside resources on the community, on my YouTube, that help people get the same results that we're getting for our clients.
Yeah, you're right. It is a supply and demand type of thing. It's a market. I was quizzing my son yesterday. He's 8, on marketing, and I'm like, "What's marketing?" And he goes, "When you bring something to the market." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "And then what happens when you bring it to the market?" And he goes, he's like, "Well, that's where the buyers are, so they could buy it." And I was like, "Okay, so if we were going to market your website, what would we do?" He was like, "Get it on Google." And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
you got it, you get it." So if there's a high demand of people looking for something and a low supply of answers for that particular thing, always big
Yeah.
opportunity. That's always the direction that you want to go in,
100%.
because typically that direction is actually the future. Meaning, while the demand might be low today, if you are in a space or a niche where there is like growing demand, people are coming, then you want to be there early, and you want to make sure that your content is ranking, um, so that you can capture
Yeah.
those visitors and
I
the
think
people who are looking for that.
some people usually forget that the way Google makes money is getting people to stay on Google for as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Google is the most popular search engine. So just like at a fundamental level, help Google keep people on its search engine,
Mm-hmm.
which comes through providing quality content, the
Yeah.
best thing on the internet, and also, helping Google supply what people are searching.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. And if you can do that right, then Google's going to reward you. It's going to put you higher up, and your website's going to get more clicks.
Yeah. I think that the thing that gets people, that trips people up, is the fact that there's a time variable, and there's a lot of question marks over that time variables. When is it going to happen? When?
Yeah,
But
that can be really tricky.
which is why you have to have a long-term strategy that goes beyond trying to get the short-term result. Because if you do, then you're almost guaranteeing for yourself a long-term result, because you're going to be doing the kinds of things in terms of your authority and what you're doing across the web. If you have a long-term vision, you're going to be doing so much that transcends just the search ranking, that
100%.
Google is going to catch up and be like, "Oh, okay, this is obviously the thing we need to be ranking here,"
Yeah,
because
they
it's
know the
got,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just realized that me and you, we could probably talk SEO all day,
Yeah.
which we might need to take another episode for, if folks want to hear us talk about SEO, because as you know, I started squarespacethemes.com as an SEO case study experiment for myself,
Yeah.
because I was only getting but so far with my client sites. I didn't have a long-term vision for my clients at the time. So I was like, I need to just figure this out for myself with my own project. And that's how we got here today. So SEO is quite a trip.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's similar with me with a blog.
Yeah.
I run a travel blog with my girlfriend. We wanted something to test out things, to
Mm-hmm.
maybe build a bit of revenue in the future. But
Yeah.
it's SEO can be a fantastic vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Henry, thank you for coming on and sharing SEO space with us, sharing your SEO space with us. I will definitely have all the links that you can follow Henry on YouTube, LinkedIn, and get on his waiting list so that you can try out this plugin in early next year, right?
Yeah, that exactly. Well, thanks a lot for your time, Amari, and thank you for having me on. And make sure you also follow Amari as well to see all the fantastic guests he has on and what he gets up to.
All right, cool, man. Thanks.
Thank you.